Hello, I'm Gary Lyon and welcome to Access All Areas. The Dockers are on top. Pies and Dogs have surprised a few for being in the top three. A frenetic showdown last night, but leading the agenda, Damo. Pair of Star Hawks who will be in some MRP trouble, I'd imagine. Yeah,
it's just a matter of degrees of trouble now, and to me it should be an extreme degree. I'm actually arguing quite strongly, guys, that they should not be able to play again until round 10. I'm saying they should miss 4 games, and I just want to go through them again. This is Exhibit A of what the AFL does not like. It's a man being taken out of off the play, off the ball, so to speak, behind the play. It can't happen, Gaz. And look, he's a good bloke and he's a great leader and that, but he's done a thug act, as has Jordan Lewis here, Gaz. And you could actually argue that's worse than what Hodge did, because Jordan Lewis knows where the ball is. I defy anyone to saying he mistook Todd Goldstein's nose for the ball, because these are acts that have to be stamped out, Gaz. And to me, a statement of a very significant nature needs to be made.
I'm not going to argue with you this morning, Damo, but what I would say is let's not get hysterical about it. They're isolated. We don't see much in football these days. Yes, they were wrong. Yes, they'll get 3-4 weeks in the next couple of days. But let's not think that this is going to take off and there'll be a whole glut of these incidents. Those two boys made bad mistakes. They'll pay for them, but our game is much better for what's happened over the past 6 or 8 years. So
when it's all said and done, be it match review panel or tribunal, what do you believe to be the right outcome? 3 weeks. Yeah, I think that's about a right whack for them, and then they'll cover. They play GWS at Melbourne in the next 2 weeks, so it won't hurt them too much. Al Clarkson is a combative type himself. Started him on the bench for the second quarter. Look at Billy Hartong. He just wants to get out of there, Billy, in the middle. That's a statement being made. I don't care what Clarko said post-match about it not being deliberate. For whatever reason, they're on the bench for a reason. I don't
think it was to put him there to go, bad boys. I think it was to put him there for Clarko to go, see if I can prick him a bit, see if I can get a little bit more out of them. So he's a master psychologist, Clarko. Hey, while you're on, you're a bit grumpy this morning. You haven't had much sleep. What about this on Stephen May and Tom Rockcliffe? What are you telling me here?
Well, 2 years ago, the fact that May has gone for the player in Rockcliffe here and not the ball would have meant that he's in trouble. I still think he should be, Gaz, because he has made the player, not the ball, the focus of his act right there and then.
Did you get him in the head?
Well, he went to hospital with a suspected broken jaw. He's been cleared of that, thankfully, because he's already had
So he hasn't broken a jaw?
Well, it means he got him in the jaw, Gary.
He garried me. That's when he gets serious.
Sometimes I think we pay too much attention to the damage done.
I don't think that's all that. That wasn't that savage.
I'd be looking at a week if I'm Stephen May.
Oh, come on, Damo. You are a bit grumpy. Let's get you up and excited about the Dogs. Now, if you get grumpy here, look at the scoreline. Sydney kicked the first 2. Everyone thought, this is the reality check that the Western Bulldogs were always going to get.
And I thought they'd get.
I think I did too. And then all of a sudden, some pressure and some heat, the turnovers came. Look at this. Reece Shaw, the second one there, which results in their second goal. And the belief in this Western Bulldogs side is real against... this is a team who thrive on there. They don't lose at the SCG, Sydney.
No, not the way they did. And you're right, the turnovers you're highlighting here are the reason they got back into the game and then established a very nice lead before the conditions turned messy. But they were able to hold on, weren't they, Gaz? And it's a very... Look, they've had wins now against West Coast, Richmond, the Crows last week and Sydney. The sample size, as you like to refer to it early in the season, it's now a nice body of work they're putting together.
Well, it's significant, given that when they took Adelaide down, Adelaide were undefeated and flying. And now they've taken down the Sydney Swans at the SCG. And we all said they're a fast, attractive running side. But when the rain came, they were able to just grit their teeth and still get up. It's magnificent. It's a great story. I hope it keeps going.
It is. And Rob Murphy, Gaz, has played in 3 preliminary finals, but the feeling he got out of the weekend's win was one that he hasn't felt before.
How do you not get emotional about footy? That's one of the best. It's the best best win I've ever been a part of. We know how good Sydney are. They've been a great club for a long, long time, and we're just starting out, but that was pretty special.
All right, we don't need to go into what happened post-season with the Dogs, but Gaz, how is it that a team can play like they are now, 4-1, with those good wins already to their name, compared with what happened last year?
Well, I think there would be some credit have to be laid to what's taken place under Brendan McCartney for the past 3 years in terms of just establishing a foundation of accountability and inside work and competitiveness. Now, the suggestion would be now that it perhaps gone too far on that, but you've got to start somewhere, and I reckon that has held him in really good stead. And now you've got Lukey Beverages come in and said, right, we've got that, now let's free you up a bit and let you play with a bit of flair. It can happen, Damo. I was involved with a team who finished last bottom on the ladder. Next year played in a prelim, and it was just a perfect storm. A new voice, a new style, stuff that had gone before helped, but a new face can help as well.
You're always big on how people respond to bad performances, Gaz. This man, Dan Hannebery, had a bad performance, like a lot of teammates in the grand final last year. The response, though, in 2015 has been quite staggering.
Yeah, look, I think he started the season well last year or the year before. He's a very proud man, very proud footballer, and he's got a great work ethic, Damo. And when you are prepared to push yourself to near exhaustion every time you play, the chances are you're going to have days like that. And he's a beauty, and that Fife's racking them up, 3-3-3. Wouldn't be far behind, Dan.
Racing 2 at this stage after 5 rounds?
Oh, no, Damo. No. From a Brownlow point of view, small sample.
OK. Hey, this showdown, Gaz, a bad result for the Crows. 2 losses in a row after opening the season with 3 straight victories. Phil Walsh...
Man conversation.
Yeah. He had them treading water while he had a team meeting in the Bay last week. What's he going to do this week?
I think get them out on the track and just get back to what was important over the pre-season, enough for them to start the season. So, well, good test now for Phil. I don't know who Adelaide play in the coming, month or so, but they started the season beautifully. Now they've got a couple of losses. They've got to go back to the drawing board.
They've got to get gritty, don't they? But he doesn't want to do that because he made that statement
when
publicly.
you make a statement to say we don't like the way Bernie... I've said this many times. We don't like the way they play, and it wasn't over the top, by the way, what we're talking about back in that Melbourne clash. I think they've got to get their hands dirty. I mean, that Port Adelaide win, they had 3 or 4 goals in front all day, and it didn't seem to me that there was a gritting of the teeth and get them back in the contest.
Now, it went inside 50 a lot, 71 to 42, but they just couldn't do anything with it because of these 2 men you're about to see. Trengo there pulled in so many marks yesterday, as did Carlton.
Yeah, look, I mean, and you're playing against Tex Walker here as well as Carlisle, but some of this ball use, I mean, that's pretty indiscriminate there, just long into an outnumbered situation. But they're elite defenders, those 2. I don't say that lightly. And look, if you get some pressure through the midfield, as we'll see in a moment, it always helps. But I think ball use has got to be a bit more discerning going forward. Eddie Betts kicking 5 and not getting enough from your 2 big fellas.
When a coach 5 rounds into his second season as coach of a club goes, says some damning statements to make about his players, as Justin Lepich did here, it's a worrying sign.
I wouldn't like some of their players playing the way Stephen May played, to be honest. At least he actually cared and did something about their previous performances. Avalokes didn't. You just like to think you don't have to continually drop players to get them to play their role. You just think play your role. And if you make a mistake, cool, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with mistakes. I don't mind mistakes. But we just got to get harder in demanding each other that we play a role. As I said, the inside 50s are fine. Some guys got some good numbers. The numbers look neat for some guys, and they'll go, oh, yeah, it wasn't too bad. When you drill down to what we want to do in some facets of the game, we're not choosing to do it or can't do it or whatever reason. So have to keep training it and getting the guys right to compete.
I feel for him. If that side was closer to Melbourne, there would be the most forensic dissection of what's going on there, and it wouldn't come out well. Leuenberger, Aish and Green didn't play. They were all available in a side that got done by 64 points by a team that hadn't won and been not competitive up until that stage.
Those comments, and particularly the reference to Stephen May's hit on Rockcliffe, at least he cared. For a coach to say that, I mean, you tell me what a player and how a player reacts to when you know that your own coach is saying that about you in a public forum.
I want to stack that up on top of the comments by the CEO, Greg Swan, about the young star James Aish when he said, oh, we think he's going home, or words to that effect. I mean, that's sending some messages, I think, that the players are going to find hard to swallow. Maybe they need it. You're taking a big risk, but they need a prick. Well, they got it in a big, big way.
Well, nothing's working. Whatever they're doing, they're not responding, and that's the key to what...
Hey, they've got issues. What about Geelong, Richmond? It was always going to be a big game. You can't have Geelong's defenders. This is like in the old days. If you kick long and high and slow, they will pick you off all day. Yep. Rivers had 14 marks. Harry Taylor had 13. Look at that from Alice, just blasting away. And look, it wasn't always the midfield's fault, but you cannot kick like that against Geelong. It's always been the way. That's almost a cardinal sin these days in footy, just to blast out the back half. Cats got away with it. Tigers were a little bit better with effort. Both of them won't make the 8. We'll be one or the other, and I think the Cats just got their head in front.
You played a lot of state footy with Andrew Bews. Take us through what happened on the weekend with Jed Bews, his son, Gaz, because it was nearly a great goal.
I know, it occurred to me as I was watching this, it took me back to a moment of the great Rat's career. And that should have been, oh, God help me, I spilt the water. That should have been a free kick right there. Don't worry about the water, Damo, it's not going to kill you. And here's a rat back in 19...
We'll go with 85.
85, I reckon it was. And, yep, just cut from the same cloth. He's going very well, Jed Bews, by the way.
Got to turn a foot.
Let's not ignore the water here. That is there, but just push through it, OK? That was my mistake.
Well, from water to smoke, Gaz, I want to take you back to Friday night where Mick Moldhouse... Look, this is not Mick, is it? It's awkward for him there, but look at the poor grandchild on his left.
Yes, I know.
Doesn't take too kindly that burst of...
Need a little gas mask, the poor little darling. Look, the pre-game was big because the expectation was that Carlton, whilst underdogs, would go and give their all for Mick, because they've said many, many times, these players, we love Mick, we support him, we back him in, we want him to coach. That's all good and well. Your actions would suggest the absolute opposite. And this would have been hard for Mick to walk off after that loss. These Carlton boys lining up,
There's 22 of them there.
3 could have kept their jumper on. The rest should have taken them off in embarrassment.
Who are the 3?
Oh, I think it was Rowe, Cripps and Judd were the 3. I reckon you could have said it. I'm staggered with the way that game unfolded on Friday night. I know it seems a long time ago now, but if they say consistently, which they do publicly, we want Mick to be our coach, well, what I'm saying is the way they played would suggest the absolute opposite.
OK.
Not good.
Hey, umpires and Hawthorn footballers, Gaz.
Yep.
This is round 3, and this caused Paul Propolo there to actually have a corked thigh, which ended up meaning he missed a game of footy, or certainly saw it. On the weekend, Gaz, Luke Bruce has copped that. How does that happen?
I can't believe Luke Bruce didn't get up and chase him. That's what would have been my initial reaction. That could have broken his jaw, Damo. You want to get up in arms about something about Stephen May. Yeah. That is legitimate contact to the head. Look,
do we go upstairs?
No, I'm going to go this time. Accidents happen, but that umpire then, he just, I don't know, forgot where he was.
Peripheral vision, Gary?
Well done to you for getting through today after a Logies night that I know you want to talk about. Sorry about
I didn't spill the water.
Well, that was an accident. Thank you for joining us. Once again, we'll catch you next Monday. On Access All Areas, have a good week and goodbye.